Hello, hello, hello. Hello, trolley people. Oh, hello, Rosemary. Oh, welcome. Hi, Benjamin. Hi, David. Gypsy. How's everyone? Um, I don't know who Cubelith is, but welcome, Cubelith. Thank you for joining me on YouTube. I don't know if I've ever seen your name in a live stream, so I'm so happy you stepped in. This is Mythology and Mead Monday, and this week we are still lacking in the mead department, but we have for sure some mythology coming up this evening. So I'm excited to read you some from Celtic Irish fairy tales later this evening. Hi, Joni. Welcome aboard. Hi, Kelly and Bob. Welcome, welcome. Happy Monday. Tell me how you are doing this evening and this weekend. Hi, Mars. Welcome aboard. So lovely to see all you wonderful souls this evening. Hot. How are you doing, hot? Hey, man. I know I'm wearing my cape today, and I'm like, was that smart? It's rather warm in here, but I guess you could be cold, so hot might be better. Oh, I'm sorry. It's such a bad time for you, Cubelith. I hope I'm saying that name correctly, but hey, 3 a.m. is a rotten time to be up. I hope that you finish your thesis. I hope perhaps we can a lot of times people say that this live stream helps them to focus. Some people are writing when they listen and tune in. Some people are creating art. So hopefully, maybe listening to this live stream will give you some music to focus on your thesis. And very good luck to you. I'd love to know what it's about if you want to share. Um, Cape Cod is humid. Oh, but it'd be so beautiful to be by the ocean. I bet it's gorgeous. Uh, We're talking about green cape that I am wearing and Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Do not get them confused. They are different. Oh, you're finished with your LARP, Kelly. How was it this weekend? I mean, you can't quite top getting married a couple weeks ago in LARP. So what happened this weekend in LARP? Anything exciting? Ah, Red is the Rose and Dragonborn. Thank you for the request. I just saw that, Benjamin. And well, hi, Jake. I guess that works just fine. Jake is easier to remember. Call me Cube or Jake. That's a new one. I haven't heard that. Hey, hey. Welcome, Justin. Oh, Jake, that sounds so fascinating. Bob, get out of here. Not Bob, patron Bob, husband Bob. What? Oh, hello from Portugal. Luis, you stopped in. I'm so glad you're able to be here. Yes, Rosemary, I agree. We have a ringmaster in our midst. Uh-huh. Sometimes it's a nice to have a quiet weekend, David. That sounds nice. Oh no. Did he win fighting the orcs, Kelly? Such drama. Oh my goodness. And yeah, I was going to say to Rosemary, Moonrise mentioned that I have an upcoming collaboration with Cutie Pie Piper. So if anyone likes Celtic tunes and tin whistle tunes, Cutie Pie Piper is a great, you probably heard of her more than you've heard of me. So she has a great YouTube channel, Instagram, and I think she's on a few others as well. And she asked me a while ago if I'd be part of a collaboration on a song, The Long Journey Home, done by Celtic Woman. And I spent a very late night filming and recording it. But I got to see what it looks like, and I'm really excited to share it with you. So it's coming out on Wednesday, 4 p.m. UK time. So yeah, I'm excited to share that with everyone. I get to play my alto recorder, which is always a joy. All right, I'm going to go ahead and launch into some music. Just to get things rolling, I have had a request earlier. I have quite a few requests today from David and Bob and Ben, I see. So I'm going to go ahead and start with Bob's, which is The Call. And let's get that. Hopefully my reverb does not did it again. Never mind. No reverb tonight. Curses all. Okay. Oh well. Oh well. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Never know. Those don't sound like great odds, Kelly. It started out as a feeling, which then grew into a hope, which then turned into a quiet thought, which then turned into a quiet word. And then that word grew louder and louder, till it was a battle cry. I'll come back when you call me. No need to say goodbye. Just because everything's changing doesn't mean it's never been this way before. And all you can do is try to know who your friends are as you head off to the war. Pick a star on the dark horizon and follow the light. You'll come back when it's over. No need to say goodbye. You'll come back when it's over. No need to say goodbye. Now we're back to the beginning. It's just a feeling and no one knows yet. But just because they can't feel it too doesn't mean that you have to forget. Let your memories grow stronger and stronger till they're before your eyes. You'll come back when they call you. No need to say goodbye. You'll come back when they call you. No need to say goodbye. Oh boy. I love, let's see, so it sounds like Kelly's husband in the LARP, or is it husband in LARP, or is it your husband in real life who also was in LARP? Questions. Had to fight some orcs. Sounds quite daring. That was for Bob, my patron Bob. Thank you so much for requesting that song, The Call. Apparently you've been reading the Narnia series, so let us know how you're liking it. I think, did you just finish? Thank you, Benjamin. Thank you, David. And welcome, Derek. So nice to see you. Joni, I super appreciate that. I'm so glad that Gypsy welcomed you to our little community here. We are warriors, bards, and dreamers, and we love having new friends. So I'm so glad you are able to be here. Well, that makes it convenient, Kelly. I'm going to see if I can get the reverb here. That was very odd. So which BBC Narnia? Because I believe there's a couple of them, aren't they? What is this from the BBC Narnia that Benjamin's mentioning? Is that from like the 80s, the Narnia? I think I've heard of it, but I just want to know which one's which. All right, we're going to try that one more time. Do. Okay, let's see. I'm not sure if that worked, but we're going to find out. It's like, you just never know when it's going to be cool. Yeah, my sound is just having some issues here. Let's see. Oh no. Well, we're just gonna not have it then, I guess. It's so weird, and I know I complain about technology all the time. I do, and I love technology, but at the same time, I hate it because I literally have changed absolutely nothing. I opened up the same program. I did the exact same thing that I do every Monday night, and then like sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But oh well, we're just gonna not hurt your poor ears, and we're gonna go into the pledge, which will hopefully sound phenomenal, even though there's no reverb. And I think I'm gonna have to take Kelly's advice at some point and just get like a plugin that's gonna like actually work. Not a software, but maybe something, an actual reverb for my microphone. I apologize, Justin. I hope your ears are better now. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. My apologies, my apologies. All right. Oh, what is that from? Okay, that is definitely my other headphones. I'm a little tangled here. Let me get untangled. So I'm still, let's see. So I want to know more about the Narnia, the BBC Narnia, and which one that is so I can look it up. So somebody answer and let me know. So this is The Pledge. This is an original song of mine. You can find it on my Facebook and YouTube channel, and you can also listen to it on all streaming sites. This is your pitch. It's on Spotify. It's actually one of my most listened to tracks on Spotify, which is super exciting. And you can hear like a full version of it if you choose to listen. So go ahead and check it out on Spotify if you like it. If only I could actually play my own song. Hold on a second. I'm gonna get you guys out of my line of vision, because sometimes that's what distracts me. It's the chat popping up as I'm trying to play. May weep, my eyes will not glisten, no teardrop shall stain my cheek. For you are my Lord, my knight and my love, and to glory thou ride from thy keep. Ride forth on the wind to green vale under sky, though death may await at the end. For you are my Lord, my knight and my love, my heart I shall never rescind. Go, go through deep wood, over mountain, ride through the valley of tears. Stars that sparkle in darkness, till morning at long last appears.
might shield thee from fear and despair. For you are my Lord, my knight and my love. Thy strength is my hope and my prayer. A promise I spake, in flesh it was forged, a bond none on earth can break. For you are my Lord, my knight and my love. Thee I shall never forsake. Go through deep wood, over mountain, ride through the valley of death. My voice is the whispering wind in the heavens, carrying the dawn on its breath. For God and for kingdom, for love and for freedom, draw sword and defend with your life. Ride forth unto glory, ride forth without fear, ride to meet arrow and knife. Go through deep wood, over mountain, ride through the valley of night. My arms are the rays of the sun at its dawning, warming thy soul with their light. Our hero claims a warrior's heart. I tell you, the dragonborn comes with a voice wielding power of the ancient Nord art. Believe, the dragonborn comes. It's an end to the evil of all Skyrim's foes. Beware, the dragonborn comes. For the darkness has passed, and the legend yet grows. You know, the dragonborns come. Dovakin, nan ons in los farin, fadain folkul, ma farak astval, arfinoruk palkran, for oss ons in drozan, fokin dahin, kogan mudra. Our hero claims a warrior's heart. I tell you, the dragonborn comes. For for the darkness has passed and the legend yet grows. You'll know the dragonborns come.
All right, I'm going to check into my chat here because I've been trying to ignore you all. Aw, thanks, Jake. I appreciate that very much. Hello, Ed. Welcome to the live stream. Let's see. Oh, no. I'm sorry, Luis. Oh, dear. I agree, Jake. I like her take on it. So I'm actually going to be premiering a cover, like an official cover of Dragonborn this month. My patrons have heard it. There's some of my patrons out here this evening as well, and they've given me lots of great feedback. So I'm just waiting for it to come back from the producer to kind of mix and master it. I did not choose to add her extra stanzas, but I do really like her version. I just love Eritan as an artist. I think she's incredible. So that's a great one to listen to. I like a lot of the versions. I like Leah's version. I like Eritan. Of course, Maluka. Who doesn't love Maluka's version? I think Maluka's version is the one that made me fall in love with the song. But I've heard other versions later on. So I would say, like, for my particular take, I suppose it kind of, again, veers a little bit more Celtic-y since I incorporate all my low whistles and even my high whistle. And but it also kind of has more of that medieval sound, similar to Eritan. So it's not the same arrangement, obviously, but we get use similar instruments. So I hope you look out for that and enjoy it. It's coming out soon. I don't know exactly when because it all depends on when I get it back, but we'll see. Thank you, Joni. I appreciate that. All right. Let's see. I feel like I had another request. Oh, Red is the Rose. Yes, I will get to that one. I actually was thinking, since we're talking about... Doobie-doobie-doo. Yeah, I guess I'll just do Red as the Rose since that's right here. So I recently discovered that I know that I have a touch screen laptop, so I can just kind of use my fingers on the screen, which is really nice. But I recently discovered that obviously I can just like use my fingers and enlarge it. So like I'm like all this time I've been like, what are the words? I can't see the chords from here, and now I'm like, oh, I can just like make it big, and then I can see everything fantastically, and I don't look like somebody who has trouble seeing. What? So for all this time, you've seen me look like I'm like slightly vision impaired. Now I can be like, oh, everything looks so lovely. All right, here's Red is the Road. This goes out to my friend Benjamin, who is a almost always every week you are here for this Mythology Mead. So this one goes out to you.
My bonny Irish lass, come over the hills to your darling. You choose the rose, love, and I'll make the vow, and I'll be your true love forever. Red is the rose that in yonder garden grows, fair is the lily of the valley, clear is the water that flows from the Boyne, but my love is fairer than any. 'Twas down by Killarney's green woods we strayed. The moon and the stars, they were shining. The moon shone its rays on her locks of golden hair, as she swore she'd be my love forever. Red is the rose that in yonder garden grows, and fair is the lily of the valley. Clear is the water that flows from the Boyne, but my love is fairer than any. It's not for the parting that my sister pains. It's not for the grief of my mother. 'Tis all for the loss of my bonny Irish lass, that my heart is breaking forever. Oh, red is the rose that in yonder garden grows, and fair is the lily of the valley, and clear is the water that flows from the Boyne, but my love is fairer than any. Oh, red is the rose that in yonder garden grows, fair is the lily of the valley, clear is the water that flows from the Boyne, but my love is fairer than any. Yes, my love is fairer than any.
That one goes out to Benjamin. Thank you for that request. I love singing for you every week, so I'm happy to do it this week as well. It's a beautiful song, and I'm happy to have it as part of my repertoire.
You remember me when the west wind moves upon the fields of barley. You'll forget the sun in his jealous sky as we walk in fields of gold. So she took her love for to gaze a while upon the fields of barley. In his arms she fell as her hair came down among the fields of gold. Will you stay with me? Will you be my love among the fields of barley? We'll forget the sun in his jealous sky as we lie in fields of gold. We'll lie in fields of gold. See the west wind move like a lover's soul I never made promises lightly, and there have been some that I've broken, but I swear in the days still left, we'll walk in fields of gold. We'll walk in fields of gold. Many years have passed since those summer days among the fields of barley. See the children run as the sun goes down among the fields of gold. Yes, you'll remember me when the west wind moves upon the fields of barley. You can tell the sun in his jealous sky as we walked in fields of gold. And we walked in fields of gold as we walked in fields of gold.
The ending to that was a little bit yucky, but we'll get there. Hi, Katie. Welcome on Twitch. So nice to see you. Oh, sounds exciting that you're moving your studio. Wow. Thanks for popping in. I appreciate it. Hi, Andrew Timothy. Yeah, my goodness. It's been a while. Thanks for stopping in. And of course, Bill, welcome, welcome. I really appreciate you all being here this evening for Mythology and Mead. Right now, we're still in the music portion of the evening, but we'll be getting to the mythology a little later. So I think I have fulfilled all of the requests that were previously asked for, but certainly if you have a request that you would like to hear and I'm able to play it, you can go ahead and comment it below. I would love to play something that you really want to hear this evening. Thanks, Benjamin. I appreciate that very much. It's one of my favorite songs. I've loved it for a long time. Yeah, some of those chords, my finger slipped. I got off my position, and all of a sudden I was like, that is not what I thought it was. But it happens. It happens. So to Andrew, who asked me about how my family is, I will say that my family is doing really well. My son, one of my sons is going to be turning 5 really soon, and we're going to be visiting my family for his birthday. And of course, he wants, I think it's going to be Batman, possibly Lego Batman, more Batman themed. So I have like some Batman. He wants a Batman cake, and I'm not entirely certain how I'm going to make that work. With black frosting? Question mark. Are any of you guys into making cakes? I would love to know. Oh, sleep song. Oh, wow. That's been a while. I hope my voice is warmed up enough for sleep song. Sometimes it kills me a little. But I can maybe I'll find a version I can lower it down. That would be nice. Then I wouldn't have to worry about my voice. I didn't have as much time to warm up today as I wanted to, and I've been a little shirking my warming up these days. Let's see.
May you always be
me. I could probably handle that. Let's see what happens if I transpose it.
Lay down, may you always be, there always be angels, there always be angels to watch over you.
That might be a little bit more my tune. All right, cool. This is for Rosemary. Thank you so much. And congratulations to Rosemary, by the way. Rosemary Moonrise is a fantastic composer and multi-instrumentalist. And I just recently was poking around on my Spotify, and I noticed that she has like over 2,000 followers and monthly listeners, or maybe it's monthly listeners on Spotify. So big hand for Rosemary. That is amazing. That is, for those of you who aren't, trying to, put your music out there, it is so hard to get like consistent audiences on such big platforms like Spotify, unless you somehow get on a playlist, which I'm still trying to figure out how to do. And again, getting on a playlist sounds like, oh, you just like get on the playlist, but there's so many scams out there of like, we'll put your song on a playlist. Like I get spammed constantly in my feed, like send your music in. So it's a little bit harder than you think. Anyway, so that's a big accomplishment. So congrats to Rosemary. I hope your audience continues to grow because your music is beautiful. I've sung out a couple of Rosemary's songs that she's written, all her beautiful lyrics. I've done Orion, which is great. It's also on YouTube. And also, oh my gosh, what was the other one called? Crossroads Inn, which is super fun. It's like a little tavern song. So definitely check out Rosemary on Spotify, especially. Give her some more followers because she's doing great if you're a Spotify fan, if you're a user. All right, so here is Sleep Song from my friend Rosemary.
Lay down your head and I'll sing you a lullaby back to the years of Lulilei, and I'll sing you to sleep, and I'll sing you tomorrow. Bless you with love for the road that you go. Sail fair to the far fields of fortune, with diamonds and pearls at your head and your feet, and may you need never to banish misfortune. May you find kindness in all that you meet. May there always be angels to watch over you, to guide you each step of the way, to guard you and keep you safe from all harm. Luli, luli, lay, may you bring love and may you bring happiness, be loved in return to the end of your days. Now fall off to sleep, I'm not meaning to keep you. I'll sit for a while and sing Lulilei. May there always be angels
This, I believe, to answer Kelly's question about what key I did. So I just went to Ultimate Guitar tabs, Ultimate Guitar tabs. I do a lot of my tabs from there because the website allows you to transpose it manually. It's just like I can just sit there and just automatically transpose it up or down. So this one is in C minor. I think some of the chords are a little wonky. I think I've crossed them out in my other version and done slightly different ones. Typically, I do this song in D minor, but this is a C minor, so it's a little bit lower. Definitely, please add that to your live stream, Kelly. This would be a beautiful song. Thank you, Rosemary, for that request. I know it's amazing. Like something that I used to have to print it out and like handwrite it all in there, and now I can just like click it, and it's like, oh, look at that! I transposed it to any key. Wild. See, that's where technology is very handy. But the Witcher song was great, Rosemary, and I think that's wonderful. Like, sometimes it really does. It takes, that's what we all kind of hope for, right? That there's like some song or something that kind of carries you through, and then you'll be picked up, I think, by more playlists, which is super exciting. So congratulations on that. And I have still not watched Witcher season 2. I'm currently watching Stranger Things 4. Is anybody else out here watching Stranger Things? Ooh, tavern performance. What exactly does that mean? Less like not flute and only guitar, or you're like ukulele? Can we call it a ukulele instead of a ukulele? I like ukulele. uh, sounds like just I don't even know. I don't even know what that sounds like. Okay, I'm going to do a couple a cappella songs for you now, which sound way better if I had lovely reverb, but we're just going to roll with it because I don't. So, whatever. Let's see. Just pulling up my lyrics and then be ready to go. And after this set of, I think I usually do about 3 or 4. After the set of a cappella tunes, I am going to jump into the mythology portion of this, and I'll be reading from this lovely book that I swiped from the library. While my children look around and read and play with the toys and find their own books, I go right to like the children's fairy tales. I've talked about this before. It's rather an obsession, and I have this really cool story to read to you. I'm fully aware of the fact that it might feel like you're listening to story time, and maybe not quite the usual in-depth. We kind of usually explore different things on the internet, but I really like to read out loud, so we're just gonna roll with it. We're gonna have story time with the Dark-Eyed Musician in a few minutes after this next set. Let's see. It was another one. Let's see. We want one more. Let's see. Shooby-dooby-doop. All right. Actually, don't really need these, so I'm going to take these off.
Land of bear and land of eagle, land that gave us birth and blessing, land that calls us ever homeward, we will go home across the mountains. We will go home, we will go home, we will go home across the mountains. We will go home, we will go home, we will go home across the mountains. before us. We have gone home across the mountains. We will go home. We will go home. We will go home across the mountains. We will go home. We will go home. We will go home across the mountains. My mother told me someday I would buy galleys with good oars, sail to distant shores, stand upon the prow, noble bark I steer, steady course to the haven, you many foemen, you many foemen. My mother told me someday I would buy galleys with good oars, sail to distant shores, stand upon the prow, noble bark I steer, steady course to the haven, you many foemen, you many foemen. My mother told me someday I would buy galleys with good oars, sail to distant shores, stand upon the prow, noble bark I steer, steady course to the haven, you many foemen, you many foemen. Shul, shul, shularun, shulka sakirag shukokyun, shulkatarasag seliklam, iskachai thu farnin slan. I wish I was on yonder hill, as there I'd sit and cry my fill, till every tear would turn a mill. Iska they through fornins slan, shoo, shoo, shoo. and vainly think I'll not complain. Is gedei thu fornin son, shu shu shularun, shuko sukirag shuko kyun, shuko tarsag selidla. Oh shu shularun, shuko sukirag shuko kyun, shuko tarsag selidla. Is gedei thu fornin slan, is gedei thu fornin slan. I am my mother's savage daughter, the one who runs barefoot, cursing sharp stones. I am my mother's savage daughter. I will not cut my hair, I will not lower my voice. My mother's child is a savage. She looks for her romance in the colors of stones, in the faces of cats, in the falling of feathers, in the dancing of fire, in the curve of old bones. I am my mother's savage daughter, the one who runs barefoot, cursing sharp stones. I am my mother's savage daughter. I will not cut my hair, I will not lower my voice. My mother's child dances in darkness. She sings heathen songs by the light of the moon, and watches the stars and renames the planets, and dreams she can reach them with a song and a broom. I am my mother's savage daughter, the one who runs barefoot, cursing sharp stones. I am my mother's savage daughter. I will not cut my hair, I will not lower my voice. We are all brought forth out of darkness into this world through blood and through pain, and deep in our homes the old songs are waking, so sing them with voices of thunder and rain. We are our mother's savage daughters, the ones who run barefoot, cursing sharp stones. We are our mother's savage daughters. We will not cut our hair, we will not lower our voice. We are our mother's savage daughters, the ones who run barefoot, cursing sharp stones. We are our mother's savage daughters. We will not cut our hair, we will not lower our voice.
Whew. All right. Thank you so much for joining me here. Thank you, Jake, for stopping in. I'm sorry that you're up so late working on your thesis, but we wish you good luck. So much good luck for you with that. And thanks for stopping by. I hope that you come back again. I know it'll be very late. And Drake Gosig, thank you for joining on Twitch. I'm so excited that you're here. And Recorder Guy, you stopped in. Welcome back from last week. Thank you so much for joining me here on Mythology and Mead Monday. Let's see. I missed a lot of these conversations here. So let's see. Let's see. Shula Rune. I can actually translate it for you, Luis. So not me personally, but I will translate it for you from the interwebs. The translation of that Gaelic there is, come, 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 O love. Quickly come to me, softly move. Come to the door and away we'll flee, and safe for aye may my darling be. I think I means like forever. So, come, 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 O love, quickly come to me, softly move. Come to the door and away we'll flee, and safe for aye may my darling be. So that's the translation that was provided by Lindsay LaBanca. So take it or leave it, but that sounds about right to me. All right, so in that set that you just heard, in case you didn't know, we started off with Song of Exile, or We Will Go Home, from the King Arthur movie back in 2004. And then we followed that with My Mother Told Me, which is from Viking Valhalla, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Shula Rune is a traditional Celtic tune and love song. And then we ended that with My Mother's Savage Daughter, which has been popularized by Sarah Hester Ross, although I don't believe she was the original one who wrote the music, as far as I'm concerned. I don't believe she was the first one. Anyway, so I'm so glad, Draco, that that's awesome. I'm happy to see that, like, I'm seeing some new friends from Twitch, because I was very close to just cutting my Twitch channel, to be honest with you, because it's been quite dead over there. But I'm happy. So you and Recorder Guy have been back, and I've got, of course, Kelly's views on Twitch. So very happy that you're here. Isn't that Savage Daughter so much fun? It's such a fun song to sing. I really enjoy it. All right, so we are about to embark on the mythology portion of today's live stream. Alas, I keep forgetting to order more mead, so I'm all without mead. But please tell me, what are you drinking this evening? Typically we got some other things. Recorder Guy, that's wonderful. I just want to encourage you, please, to check out my website, thedarkeyedmusician.com, if you haven't already, and follow me on Instagram as well. Instagram, Facebook, I'm there as well if you have not already. I'm guessing maybe you already have. But please hang out with me. Come join me on my social media. This is every Monday night, but I'm also around. I even do a special Wednesday stream for patrons only. That's actually during the day, which might be nice for people like poor Jake, who's, yeah, that's interesting, Kelly, because like I said, it's definitely not her. It's definitely not her original song, but of course she made such a beautiful cover of it. Wheat ale. Interesting. Rebel Yell whiskey and Bud Light together? Like, do you do the whiskey and then the Bud Light in the whiskey, like, or do you just do them separately and switch depending on which one you feel like? Well, cheers to everyone. I'm drinking my water this evening, but I wish you a sláinte, good health, and wonderful peace this week. Let's launch into this fantastic book that I found at the library. So this is the mythology portion of our chat this evening. This is a book called Celtic Fairy Tales. I will kind of hold it up and show you. Celtic Fairy. Look at that beautiful picture. Like, dude, it's beautifully illustrated. There we go. You can see it now. Celtic Fairy Tales. I saw this and I was like, oh, I'm picking that one. And of course, throughout, there's beautiful illustrations. This is one that shows this gorgeous art of a crow, all in the Celtic knotwork. Really cool. So there's lots of stories in here, but today I thought I would read to you The King of Ireland's Son, which in fact involves the picture that's from the front. So I'd like to try something maybe a little new, and I'm just going to read it to you and see what you think of the story. So I was thinking it would be kind of cool if I could like put music behind it, but I'll have to, maybe that'll be something to add another time. Anyway, The King of Ireland's Son. There was a king's son in Ireland long ago, and he went out in the snow with his gun and his dog. He killed a raven, and the raven fell onto the snow. I will never eat 2 meals at one table or sleep 2 nights in one house until I find a woman whose hair is as black as the raven's wing, whose skin is as white as the snow, and whose cheek is as red as the raven's blood, he swore. There was only one woman like that, and she was a prisoner of the king of poison in the eastern world. So the next day he set out. Money was scarce, but he took 20 pounds for the journey. He had not gone far before he came upon a funeral, and he said he would walk 3 steps alongside the coffin. He had not walked the 3 steps before a man stepped up and set down a bill on the coffin for an unpaid debt of 5 pounds. The dead man's sons and daughters started weeping and wailing because it was the law in Ireland in those days that even a dead man must pay his debts before he could be buried. When the king's son heard this, he reached into his pocket and paid the 5 pounds. After that, he said he would walk as far as the church. At the church gate, another man set down a bill for 5 pounds, and the king's son said, "If I have paid 5 pounds, I can pay 2, and paid the debt. So now he had only 10 pounds left. He went on his way, and he had not gone far before he met a short green man who asked him where he was going. He said that he was seeking a woman in the eastern world. The short green man asked him, "Did he want a servant?" "Yes," said the king's son, "but I don't have much money. What wages would you be wanting?" "The first kiss from your bride if you should win her," said the short green man, and the king's son agreed to that. They went on their way and had not gone far when they met another man. This man was pointing his gun into the far distance, but they could not see what he was aiming at. "What are you doing?" asked the king's son. "I'm going to shoot the blackbird that is in the eastern world, to have it for my supper," said the Iman. "You had better come along with us," said the short green man. It was not long before they met another man. This one had his ear to the ground. "What are you doing?" asked the king's son. "I'm listening to the grass growing in the eastern world," said the earman. "You had better come with us," said the short green man. Farther along they met another man who was herding a field of hares. This man had one leg crossed over with the foot slung over his shoulder. "Why are you hopping about like that?" asked the king's son. "If I unhooked this leg, I would walk so fast that I would soon be out of sight," said the footman. "You had better come with us," said the short green man. A while later they met another man who was turning a windmill by snorting through one nostril. He was keeping the other nostril closed with his finger. "Why do you have your finger on your nose?" asked the king's son. "Oh, if I were to blow with both nostrils, I would sweep the windmill right up into the air," said the blowman. Come on, this is pretty funny. "You had better come with us," said the short green man. Then they met another man who was breaking stones by the side of the road. Is anybody keeping track of how many men this is so far? He did not have any hammer, but was breaking the stones with one of his thighs. "Why are you doing that?" asked the king's son. "If I used both my thighs, I would grind the stones to powder," said the thigh-man. "You had better come with us," said the short green man. So the son of the king of Ireland, the short green man, the eyeman, the earman, the footman, the blowman, and the thigh-man all went forward, that's 6 of them, together until the evening came and the end of the day. They came to the house of a giant, and the short green man said, "We should stop here tonight." The giant came to the door, he went up to the door and rat-tat-tatted with his stick. The giant came to the door, saying, "I feel the smell of a melodious lying Irishman in the air." The short green man said, "I am no melodious lying Irishman. I am come to tell you that my master is coming, and that if he finds you here, he will strike your head off." As he spoke, the short green man was growing bigger and bigger and bigger, until he was nearly the size of the giant's house. "Is your master as big as you?" asked the giant fearfully. "Bigger," said the short green man. "Help me hide until the morning," begged the giant. So the short green man put the giant under lock and key and went back to tell the king's son that the coast was clear. The son of the king of Ireland, the short green man, the eyeman, the earman, the footman, the blowman, and the thigh-man spent the night in the giant's castle, 1/3 of it telling fairy tales, 1/3 of it telling tales of the hero Finn McCool, and 1/3 of it in sweet slumber. In the morning, they left, and the short green man went back to release the giant. But before he would undo the lock, he asked the giant to give him the old black cap that was under his bed. "I will give you a brand new top that I have never worn," said the giant. "I would be ashamed to give you the old black cap." But the short green man insisted. "If you don't give me the old black cap, my master will come back and strike your head off." "In that case, I shall give it to you," said the giant. The short green man undid the lock, and the giant gave him the old black cap, saying, "If you put this on your head, you can see everyone, but no one can see you." The next night they spent at a second giant's house, 1/3 of the night in telling fairy tales, 1/3 in telling tales of Finn McCool, and 1/3 in sweet slumber. This time when they left, the short green man asked the giant for the old slippers that were under his bed. The giant offered him a pair of new boots, but he insisted, and the giant told him, "If you put on these slippers and say 'High over,' they will take you anywhere you want." The next night they spent at a third giant's house, 1/3 of the night in telling fairy tales, 1/3 of the night telling tales of Finn McCool, and 1/3 of the night in sweet slumber. This time the short green man asked the giant for the rusty sword that was under his bed. "I will not give that sword to anyone," said the giant. But the short green man insisted. "If you don't give me the rusty sword, my master will come back and strike your head off." "You shall have the sword," said the giant. "It will cut through anything, even iron, and will not stop until it touches the earth." So the King of Ireland's son, the short green man, the eyeman, the earman, the footman, the blowman, and the thieman went forward again until evening came, and at the end of the day. And that night they arrived in the eastern world, where lived the lady with her hair as black as a raven's wing, skin as white as snow, and cheeks as red as blood. The king's son and his companions got lodging in the castle of the King of Poison, where the lady was. The castle was all set around with skulls on spikes. "What do you want?" asked the lady. "I want to marry you," said the king's son. I like how he's so direct. We just cut right to it. Not like, "Hi, my name's Clarence. Nice to meet you." just, yes, right to it. "If you want to marry me, you must free me from enchantment," said the lady. "But I must tell you all the skulls that you see around the castle walls are the skulls of the men who have tried to set me free. If you fail, your skull will join the others." "I'm not afraid," said the King of Ireland's son. So the lady gave him a pair of scissors. "This is the first test," she said. "You must give those scissors back to me in the morning." If the short green man had not been keeping watch— oh, I'm sorry. "That is not much of a test," said the King of Ireland's son. But in the night the lady placed a pin of slumber under his pillow, so that as soon as he went to bed he fell fast asleep, and then she came and took the scissors and gave them to the King of Poison. If the short green man had not been keeping watch, the king's son would have been lost. But the short green man put the old black cap on his head and the old slippers on his feet, and took the rusty sword in his hand and said, "High over," and in a flash found himself in the room of the King of Poison. He took the scissors back and gave them to the king's son. In the morning the lady asked, "Do you have my scissors?" And the king's son replied, "Yes, lady, I have." So next night she gave him a comb and said that he must give it back to her in the morning. And again she set the pin of slumber under his pillow, stole back the comb, and gave it to the King of Poison. Again the short green man put on his hat, his slippers, and his rusty sword, and stole it back. In the morning when the king's son awoke, he felt for the comb, but it was gone. "I have lost it," he cried. But the short green man said, "Don't worry, I have it." And when the king's son gave the lady the comb, she was full of wonder. On the third night she said to the son of the King of Ireland, "Tomorrow morning you must give me the head of the man who cuts his hair with the scissors and combs his hair with the comb. If you do not, you must lose your own head." That night she gave the scissors and the comb to the King of Poison and told him to guard them with his life. So the King of Poison hid them inside a great stone and locked it behind 70 locks and sat beside it all night long. The lady set the pin of slumber under the pillow again, and the king's son fell fast asleep. But the short green man put on his old black cap and his old slippers and his rusty sword. "High over," he said, and in an instant he was beside the great stone. He could see the King of Poison, but the King of Poison could not see him, because he was wearing his cap of invisibility. The short green man drew the rusty sword. With his first stroke he cut through the locks. With his second stroke he cut through the stone. And with his third stroke he cut off the King of Poison's head. When the short green man returned, he woke the king's son and gave him the head, the scissors, and the comb. In the morning the lady came and asked, "Do you have the head?" And the king's son replied, I have the head, and the scissors, and the comb. And he threw her the head of the king of poison. The lady gave out a great shriek of anger. I will never marry you unless you can send a runner who will fetch 3 bottles of water of life from the well of the western world, and fetch them quicker than the runner I will send. If my runner comes back first, you must lose your head. So it's interesting that I'm going to pause here because I haven't read this yet. I'm just reading it to you now. I find it interesting that she says, you have to free me from enchantment. Oh no, or I can't marry you. But it sounds like she kind of makes the rules around here. Is anybody else getting that impression? It really sounds like she kind of calls the shots, she's sort of we'll do this and do this and do that. And the only reason this guy is getting away with it is because he has his little servant there who's helping him out. So I don't know. And now she's like, ew, I don't want to marry you, even though you did everything I told you. Seems suspicious. Yes, Bob, I like that. Right? The lady sent for an old hag and gave her 3 empty bottles to fetch water from the well of the western world. The short green man asked for 3 bottles to be given to the footman who had been herding the field of hares. The footman and the hag set off together. The footman unhooked his foot from over his shoulder, and soon he was out of sight. He got to the well of the western world, filled his bottles, and was halfway home while the hag was only halfway there. He greeted her, and she said, Sit down and rest a while. They are already married, so there's no need to break your heart running. So he settled down, and she put a slumber pin under his head, so he fell asleep. Then she spilled out the water of life from his bottles and went on her way. The short green man said, The footman is a long time coming, Earman. Put your ear to the ground and tell me what is happening. I can hear the hag coming, said the Earman, but the footman is fast asleep. I can hear him snoring. So the short green man asked for the eyeman to see if he could see where the footman was. He is lying asleep by the road with a slumber pin under his head. Put your gun to your eye and shoot the pin away. The eyeman put his gun to his eye and shot the pin from under the footman's head. The footman woke with a start and saw that his bottles were empty and he must go back to the well. As he set off, he was passed by the hag on her way back to the castle. The eyeman said, The hag is coming. The short green man said to the blowman, Try to stop her. The blowman blew out of his right nostril. It buffeted the hag, but she kept on coming. He blew with his left nostril. It swayed the hag, but she kept on coming. At last he blew with both nostrils and sent her sailing through the air all the way back to the well of the western world. The footman came running up with the 3 bottles of water, and the son of the King of Ireland had won the race. The lady let out another shriek of anger. Could have seen that coming. She said, I will never marry you until you have walked 3 miles without shoes or stockings over sharp steel needles. And as she had sharp steel needles set point up over, and she had sharp needles set point up over a road 3 miles long. The short green man said to the thigh-man, Go and blunt those. The thigh-man went along with them with one thigh and reduced them to stumps. He went along them with 2 thighs and reduced them to powder. The King of Ireland's son walked along the road as free and as easy as a fine young lad on a country stroll. So he had won his wife with hair as black as a raven's wing, skin as white as snow, and cheeks as red as blood. They were married then, and the short green man said, Don't forget, I am to have the first kiss. So the short green man kissed the bride, and all the poisonous serpents that the king of poison had put in her with his spells came out of her mouth. If the king's son had kissed her, he would have been bitten to death. Well, that's convenient. Then the short green man said to the son of the King of Ireland, You can go with your wife now. I am the man who was in the coffin that day when you paid the 10 pounds so that my body could be buried. These others are servants whom God has sent to you to repay your kindness. Then the short green man and the eyeman and the earman and the footman and the blowman and the thigh-man went away, and the son of the King of Ireland never saw them again. He brought his wife home with her black hair, her white skin, her cheeks as red as blood, and they spent happy life with one another. The end. Whew. I think it's fun to see some of the I always love it with fairy tales where you can see the similarity of different different themes kind of recurring in different fairy tales. A lot of them tend to come back. Obviously, the idea of black hair with white skin and red cheeks and red lips and all that. That's a very common, beauty standard in fairy tales. But I do kind of love, like, there's sort of a funniness to it, like kind of an oddness to it that I think makes it just very, very Celtic in a lot of ways. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. Like, there's just definitely that flavor to it. Like, the whole thing with, like, the nostrils and, like, thighs, like breaking stones with your thighs. Like, what is going on, And let's see. But I liked at the end how it was all to do with the fact that that he was kind, that he gave his money to pay the dead man's debt. And I like that. I like it when a story has, like, a moral ending in a good positive way, especially for children. Like, it was because he was generous. It wasn't just like he waltzed in and, like, got the girl and happened to have all this help from all these random strangers. Instead, it was that he earned that help because of his kindness to that one person, and kind of that pay it forward morality. I just liked that. So I actually liked the ending of it. Some of it was a little odd, but that was cool. I don't know the adventures of Baron Munchausen. Munchausen? Munchausen? That was kind of romantic. It was definitely not the most romantic fairy tale. I think because obviously she was enchanted all along, so I called that wrong. I don't think it was quite as romantic as it could have been. Alas. But we are coming to the end of our lovely Monday evening, so I want to sing you a little final song. Let's do The Last Goodbye, unironically. I think next time I might have to pick a shorter story.
I saw the light fade from the sky. On the wind I heard a sigh. As the snowflakes cover my fallen brothers, I will say this last goodbye. Night is now falling, so ends this day. The road is now calling, and I must away over hill and under tree, through lands where never light is shown, by silver streams that run down to the sea. Under cloud, beneath the stars, over snow on winter's morn, I turn at last to paths that lead home. And though where the road then takes me, I cannot tell. We came all this way, but now comes the day to bid you farewell. Many places I have been, many sorrows I have seen, but I don't regret, nor will I forget all who took that road with me. Night is now falling, so ends this day. The road is now calling, tree, through lands where never light is shone, by silver streams that run down to the sea. To these memories I will hold, with your blessing I will go, to turn in lives to paths that lead home. And though where the road then takes me, I cannot tell. We came all this way, but now comes the day to bid you farewell. I bid you all a very fond farewell.
Oh, well, thank you so much for joining me this evening. To all of you who stopped in, whether you are new or this is your regular Monday, I love seeing everybody, all my regulars. It's so wonderful. I'm happy that you could all be here with me this evening. Just another friendly reminder that I am going to be part of a great collaboration for the Long Journey Home. It's a Celtic Woman cover, and I'll be participating in that cover with Cutie Pie Piper, among other talented musicians. And that's coming out on Wednesday. So take a look. It'll be on Instagram and YouTube. I'm not sure about Facebook, but definitely Instagram and YouTube. And I can't wait to share that with you. As always, patrons get to see things first. So thank you to all my wonderful patrons who have already seen behind the scenes a little bit, and they'll get to see a preview of it tomorrow. So if you want to be part of that behind the scenes and get to see extra stuff, a little earlier and know the projects I'm working on and have be part of that journey on the Inside Circle with me, I would love it if you checked out my Patreon page, www.patreon.com/The Dark Eyed Musician. So thank you again, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Bye, everyone.